I'm gonna need all the coffee I can get for this video. Whew. Last of Us Part 2. Now, I've just got done playing The Last of Us Part 2. I played throughout the entirety of the game. I've also, before playing the game, I watched a Let's Play by a YouTuber called Chirako. And Chirako, you kind of need to work on your sneak game there. But yeah, I watched him and I also played the game. So I have two separate experiences with The Last of Us Part 2. I also replayed The Last of Us, and well, shit. Coming to Part 2, it's just mind-boggling. Now, assuming that I already put some of the disclaimers in front of this video, I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to be showing gameplay because I don't want my video being taken down by Sony, and Sony's been doing things. I'm going to be talking about all the spoilers. I'm actually going to just be talking in subject of certain things. I am assuming that you've already played the game, heard the leaks, or you're just interested in the video. And 3, I do not care. It's a big thing because I do not care about the whole LGBTQ thing. Like, I don't care who's gay, who's trans, who's bisexual, I don't care. I don't care. Many people are probably going to come to this video saying that I am homophobic or transphobic. That's not the case. I'm looking at a character's qualities, their personality, and how they were throughout the entirety of the game. And that's it. That's it. I'm not here to rag on the director or the writer, whose name is Neil Druckmann. A lot of people are doing that right now. Druckmann he makes good games. He writes good stories. He is a really good designer of games. So I'm not going to rag on Druckmann. I will say that this is a collaborated effort, and this was his choice, if not plenty of people's other choices, to go on this direction with The Last of Us. Getting all that out of the way, let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2. So, The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, do I have a lot of things to say about The Last of Us Part 2. First off, I felt uncomfortable playing this game. I felt uncomfortable watching this game. I feel uncomfortable right now because I'm just coming off of the game. And that's all because of all these things that happened throughout the entirety of the game. The characters, their decisions, and everything like that. It just felt horrible. Now, Naughty Dog comes out with very good games all the time. They made the Uncharted series, which is still one of my favorite series. I loved Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 and 4 are either one of my favorites. I love 2 and I love 4. 3's alright, 1's alright. They always enhance the gameplay and the story quality and everything like that. And 4 was just like the best ending for Drake, or for Nathan Drake, so you know, I'm not going to blame Naughty Dog for this being some giant mistake. But there are some things that I do want to talk about in terms of The Last of Us Part 2. For one, the critique where they're getting 9s and 10s all over the place. I don't think that it deserves 9s, 10s, 5 out of 5s, 5 stars, or the highest rating you can think of. Because this game has a lot of flaws. There's a lot of things wrong, or things that I just disagree with when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2, and how they ran on this story, how they kept going since the first Last of Us, and some of it just, I don't know, just how did it come to this? I don't think it's a bad game, neither. To get this out of the way, gameplay is good. It's good. It's not great. It's good. It has flaws. The gameplay has flaws. I honestly think they took the programming from the first game, put it in here, ironed it out a little bit, and it's playable. But it still has the 5 feet off the ground death syndrome, which I've happened to come across a couple times in this game, and some graphical glitches happen. Don't get me wrong, it is a beautiful game. It looks amazing. It looks great. The water, the foliage, the world itself just looks amazing. This game is top notch in terms of how it's designed and how it's look. Its gameplay could be touched up upon, but it didn't change anything really. It's basically The Last of Us. just ironed out somewhat controls. I don't know where critics are saying that the gameplay has become more intuitive. You mean, oh, there's less trash, garbage cans to move? There's less ladders to pick up? Is that what you're talking about? Because this game has that. There's also other things that could be just slightly annoying. Like always going, especially for Abby, going through these small little cracks in the wall or something like that. But I'm not trying to rag on the gameplay. Gameplay is fine. Gameplay is good. So that's alright. I would say that the gameplay is A-okay. What I have a problem with is the story. Now, The Last of Us is not a game that you pick up to play for the gameplay. That much is proven. And as much as people want to say, oh, but the first Last of Us, its gameplay was amazing. Back in when it was made, right? At that time, it was seen that escort kind of gameplay was annoying because nobody wants to babysit another character through the entirety of a game. And what The Last of Us did was make Ellie more independent, that she didn't need to be looked after. She could take care of herself and she could help you in a fight. That's great. They have this again in The Last of Us Part 2, but it's not really changed. You don't do anything. It's not really changed. That's it. It's not really changed. It's just slightly ironed out with quality of life stuff. So we're going to move past that. We're also going to move past the soundtrack because the soundtrack is amazing. It's all good. The soundtrack, the audio, everything with it, the sound mixing, perfectly fine. But the story, because The Last of Us is a story-driven game, this is what I'm judging most of its merits on: the story. I could go on and on, really, from beginning to end, the entirety of the story, if I really wanted to, but I'm not. I'm just going to hit home where I think the problems arise for me personally. I don't like the characters, especially with what has become of Ellie in this game. The reason for going on this revenge spree was because Joel was killed at the very beginning of the game. At the beginning. The leaks were true about him getting hit over the head with an iron club, but how it was dished out, right? Like, Joel and Tom, his little brother, are, out scouting, but for some reason, they went out scouting and somehow just met up with Abby. First off, they were supposed to be on a route, but, they went off the beaten path that they had to go on, I guess because they saw Abby in a distance or something like that. You take control of Abby at the beginning, too, because you take control of Ellie and then Abby. And Abby's just running away from all these infecteds. Joel and Tommy come together with Abby's, her team, and right there, Abby shoots him in the knee with a shotgun, basically blowing his leg off. And it was right there that she starts beating him with a club. Ellie makes it there, sees Abby murdering Joel, and before the final strike, like she was telling Joel, get up, because they just rekindled their relationship after a falling out, and Ellie really still does care about Joel. She's saying, get up, and then bam, final hit, we see Joel die, just like that. And the way he died, this is one of the biggest things that really messes me up. The way he died, that's not how it honestly, that I don't think that's how it should have been. These are one of the things that I think they could have just done a whole lot better. Joel was such a central and beloved character from The Last of Us, and we can all agree with that. He was the main character. To give a backstory for those who don't know, as a reminder, Joel wasn't the nicest guy in The Last of Us. He reluctantly took Ellie in the beginning across the states to get her to the Fireflies so that they can find out why she's immune and get a vaccine from her. Joel even tried to, lay Ellie off to her brother Tom, to his brother Tom, and that didn't happen because Tommy was like, "Listen, I have a community to take care of. I got people to take care of. I can't do your shit for you. So you go take your fucking responsibility and stop being an asshole." Because at that time, Tommy and Joel were not on good terms. Tommy had to leave Joel because of how just monstrous he was throughout the 20 years of them surviving in this new world. And remember, we're coming off the cusp of in The Last of Us, in the first game. This is 20 years. 20 years after Joel's daughter dies, and he just becomes a shell of a man. But he does it because he needs to survive. No matter what he does, it's all to just self-preserve himself. He didn't care about no one else. That included kind of Ellie in the beginning. Like, it's not like he didn't care for her. It's just that you're just a mission to me in the beginning. But throughout time, which is one of the best things about The Last of Us, their relationship grows and you see it. Ellie, who's making Joel open up, and Joel is teaching her about the world. They're having good conversation, every now and then. I mean, in the beginning, it was more or less, this is a job, but later on, they're talking, conversating, and after all shit breaks loose, they have parts of hope within The Last of Us. It makes you feel warm. It makes you feel good. And even at the ending, you can sympathize with Joel because they both bonded. And at the end of the game, Joel told the biggest lie of his life to Ellie, even though Ellie knew he was lying. So we jump 5 years into the future where Joel got his head beat in. Ellie is like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill all of you. She wants vengeance. She wants to kill the person who killed Joel, who is her father figure, her surrogate father. They just had a falling out. They're now getting back, just slowly rekindling their relationship, and now he's gone. She wants vengeance, and she will kill anybody to get at Abby. This is uncharacter of Ellie, because in the first game, right, she's 14, but she was mature. She was mature enough to get things, to get the world, and do what she needs to do to protect herself and Joel, especially when Joel got hurt near, the later half of the game in The Last of Us. She had to take care of both of them. She was hunting, she was fighting, she was killing people, but she didn't take comfort in killing people. Joel could kill somebody, snap their neck, and not look a different way, while Ellie was just like, Jesus Christ, Joel. Now in part 2, she can just kill somebody without even batting an eye, because Joel's dead. She wants her vengeance, and even if you're innocent, you're gonna die. That's basically the gist of it. It was an uncomfortable ride with Ellie, with just so much tension, so much, I want to fuck somebody up, I want to kill somebody from Ellie, and it just, oh god, dude, I just didn't want to play the game anymore. It came to a point where just the dialogue itself was just getting droll, okay? The dialogue was low tone. There was no humor, because in The Last of Us, there was always some humor here and there to lift our spirits. None really here in this game at all. It's just a bunch of despair. Killing people left and right, without even thinking about it. She would kill a person who was unarmed. She said, "Where's Abby?" And you know what? She was antagonized to even go about through violence. She would kill somebody just, because, oh yeah, that person said something about Joel. Oh my god, is that the ice cream man in the background? I swear to fucking Christ. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna have to pause this real quick. You know what's weird? There's an ice cream truck outside right now. And it's 9 o'clock at night. One, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody should be taking ice cream from this man. And 2, why are you coming at 9 o'clock in the night, boy? What is your time and schedule? Why do you come around here at 9 o'clock at night? Anyway, the characters in this game, in terms of the main characters, I don't like. I don't like Ellie in this game. I don't like Abby in this game. And I understand that Ellie has a vengeance motor because the man who is basically her father was killed. Oh, but shocking, Abby's father was killed because he was the surgeon who was supposed to create the vaccine from Ellie in The Last of Us Part 1, even though back in that game, that was just some regular dude, and you shot him in the face or you stabbed him in the neck, and you actually had the choice of leaving the other two surgeons there, you could leave them alive and move about, killing the rest of the Fireflies. But, Abby had to have her vengeance against Joel, which then Ellie had to go and have her vengeance against Abby. Now, I didn't like the fact that Ellie was just so dark and brooding, and the tone was just so desperate and despair. It wasn't what I expected in a sequel of The Last of Us. I expected some sort of humor, but nothing landed. Nothing at all. They would have sarcasm, they would have quips, but god damn it, they wouldn't last. The only few times you would have a bit of hope was in flashbacks, where you're not playing as Joel, but you play as Ellie with Joel there. And, sometimes they'll be in missions and stuff. And at the end of those, at the end of those flashbacks, by the way, it's always this awkward, Joel, please tell me the truth. What happened at that hospital? And it did it again until at that point he told the truth and they fell out. Their relationship that was building in The Last of Us, utterly destroyed in this game. Fuck Ellie and Joel and their relationship that they had built up since the beginning of The Last of Us. Because we knew, I would rather play The Last of Us again to see that bond reform again. But that, Joel's dead, so there's none of that here. And it just hurts. It hurts going after these people for vengeance, and it hurts with the fact that I only get to see Joel in flashbacks. It hurts that, Joel died, but I don't know, a vengeance boner? Would I really go out and... I would definitely go out and go after a singular person who did it, but I probably wouldn't want to kill them. I would probably beat the ever-living shit out of them, but I would never want to kill them, because I know full well, Ellie knows full well, that vengeance begets vengeance. She knows full well. But you know how she figures this out? By the time she makes it to the end of the game, we'll get there. Let's talk about Abby. I don't like Abby. I don't like her. And it's not because of, what she is. I don't like her as a character. She is a horrible person. And as you play on and drone on, the voice acting in this game is still superb, but they are told to be in a more dark and brooding undertone that I'm not interested in anything. At the very least, even though in a hopeless apocalyptic future in The Last of Us, you have people making quips and having fun, and some fun shit happens. But in part 2, neither Ellie or Abby have fun shit happening. It's just boring, dull reality for them. And it's I don't really want to live your life, Abby. I really don't. See, she has this relationship with Owen. Owen is her boy toy, not her boyfriend. He used to be her boyfriend, but now she's just the boy toy. Owen is now with this girl named Mel, who's also Abby's friend. But Mel is having a problem because she knows that they have a relationship, and she knows she's fucking things up for Owen. So even though Owen, the nice guy, because he's also the same person who let Ellie live, protected Ellie and Tommy from being killed by the rest of his group, Tommy, oh god, there's fireworks going on out there. I was about to say Tommy, I meant to say Owen protected her, but fuck it. Ellie doesn't even remember that portion. She just remembers Abby. But Abby still has this thing for Owen, even though Owen got Mel pregnant. So Mel, a pregnant woman, is also out there climbing shit, going over shit, shooting, fighting. She's literally in her last trimester. Her belly is big. She shouldn't be going nowhere, but nope. They have her running all over the place because they need to have the scene where a pregnant woman is killed. Abby is friends with Mel and Owen. This triangular relationship between Owen, Abby, and Mel, I don't even know what to say. First of all, Owen's a terrible person if he's juggling these two girls. He's a terrible person if he's doing that. Like, I think a lot of people will remember, Dry as Fuck Owen, or Dry the Hump Owen, or Owen the Dry Man, because he went in pretty dry in that scene. Owen is a terrible person. And I don't know who the voice actor is for Owen, but he wasn't the best at what he was doing. It wasn't the best. The relationship and everything with Abby was just... Ugh! I didn't want to play Abby. To be honest, I did not want to play Abby. And her story was just as bad, because she's just, okay, there is literally fireworks going on outside of my window. I have no idea why. This isn't the 4th of July. Abby gets herself into some deep shit because she helps some Scar kids. She's trying to find Owen. Owen, who got himself into deep shit because he grows a conscience, and everybody wants to be an incredible racist genocidal asshole, because there's this group called not the Scars. Well, her group calls them Scars, but they're called something else, and I forgot at the moment right now because they're so inconsequential what their name is. This is a religious group who go through incredible extremes for their religion. They have a prophet. They even, kill other people in their own society because they done wrong in the religion. Well, these two kids wanted to escape that, but a few cult members come in and break this girl Yara's arm. And because of that breaking of the arm and Abby's encounter with these two Scar children, like at first she didn't do anything. She didn't take them to a hospital. She just let them be. And this other kid named Lev, she was just like, okay, I saved you. Good luck surviving, because the cult members are going to find you anyway. She goes back, finds the kids, says, hey, look, I want to do right by you. Gets the girl with the broken, shattered arm. And now, because of that, because of all this, she's considered AWOL in her militia. First of all, Owen went AWOL because he didn't want to do it anymore. He wanted to leave. She wasn't sent there. She went out to look for Owen to try to bring him back, even though he was in deep shit. But then it turned into this Scar mission, having to save these Scar children, and the girl Yara needed to get her arm cut off, so they needed supplies from the militia, so they had to run. Abby had to run all the way back, come back, and have this girl's arm being removed. But, that's just gameplay, dude. That's gameplay. Nothing really develops here. This is just her mission to do stuff. And in between all that, she's having flashbacks or dreams of different things happening in the Firefly moment in the hospital. She obviously misses her dad, but I don't know why she's having nightmares when she already killed Joel. So she's still a violent hard ass because she'd kill her own militia just to get what she needs. Just so that whatever she wants, she'll do it. I mean, at first it wasn't like that, but she's a brutal monster just as well. She wasn't going to kill Owen because, they're close. Comes back. Her operation was good. But a lot of things happen with Lev. They got to go rescue Lev. He went back to find their mom. It's kind of scary how these kids, part of this religious cult, by the way, they're called Scars because they got the Joker smile on their cheeks. It's kind of crazy. But Yara and Abby go and find Lev, and by the way, the militia that Abby comes from is ultra violent. They want to kill all the Scars. They said, no peace treaty, we're killing them. Everyone. Each and every single one of them. Women, children, old people, they're all dead. Fuck them. Fuck all the Scars, or whatever they want to call themselves, because this is our territory. By the way, this is centered on one giant island. But you know what? Fuck those people. Just because they want to live in their religion and we don't want to broker a peace or anything like that, fuck them. This guy named Isaac, who's the leader of the militia, wants to kill all of them. And it's kind of weird seeing a black man wanting genocide on an entire society of people in a post-apocalyptic world for an island which has probably limited resources. But okay, that's what they want to do. When they encounter when Abby goes ahead and encounters the militia group while they're raiding this village, this settlement, and everyone's dying left and right, no one takes anyone prisoner. Everyone dies. Yara, who I started to start growing, like, I liked her. I like Yara. She's missing an arm, and she's awesome, just trudging through. She unfortunately meets her end at that point, and she uses her last strength for Abby and Lev to get away. Like, you see all these gruesome scenes. How people are dying is not hidden, for the most part. There are some hidden, intent, like, you can assume that they're dead. Like, for instance, I think her name was Nora, where Ellie was beating her for information. And then that last hit, you could just tell her brains are all over the place. But this game is ultra violent. Like, they shot Yara up on that ground. They were just, it was like, I think she shot Isaac in the shoulder, because it wasn't the head. His head didn't go blow up, but he was shot in the back by Yara, and Yara was just Swiss cheesed, and I was just like, shit, dude. So, while you're running away, trying to get away from the militia, with Abby now branded as a traitor, everybody's dying left and right, things burning. I'm sure pretty much everybody there's body counts everywhere. Militia are dying, the cult members are dying, and Abby and Lev just wants to leave. There was this boss battle randomly at the end of that section. It was weird, but they got away, and without Yara. And by the time Abby gets there, it's the Ellie meetup moment. Her dog named Alice, which we don't get a lot of time with this Alice. I think we're supposed to have grown attached to this dog, but we don't. And we go ahead and, oh shit, Mel and Owen are dead. Because at that moment, we're going to reverse that. We're going to see how this happened in Ellie's scene. Ellie wanted to know where Abby was. But instead, since, Mel could have just said she went off to an island over there, she might be dead because they're doing a raid over there. No, instead she's like, if we tell her, she's going to kill us anyway. And it's like, I kind of believe you too, because the way Ellie is acting, it fucking makes no sense, but I think I can believe you with that. But Ellie has no reason to kill Mel or Owen. She just wants information. She was the one with the gun. She pointed it at Owen, right? Because it's like, he's the bigger guy. Stay there. And Mel was going to come over and, write on the map. But for some dumb reason, Owen comes up and tries to take the gun, gets shot in the belly. Mel tries to defend him with her pregnant self, but she gets stabbed in the neck. And for, like, big reveal, she's pregnant. And Ellie's like, oh shit, what have I done? And she tries to, get Owen to talk, but he's dying. He's dying because there's blood spilling out of the hole you just put in there. All of that could have been avoided if, Mel just said, oh, she went off to an island and such, da-da-da-da-da-da. She's probably dead. Or you could just wait for her to come back. Nope. Never said a thing like that. That wasn't even an option. Fuck. So Abby gets there, and Ellie's not too far away. She finds out where she is, invades, comes in, ambushes Tommy, who's, I guess, recalling the fact that, oh, I have real gold for my wife. Ambushes Tommy, puts him onto the ground. As soon as Jesse comes out, immediately gets shot in the face. We don't even get a lot of time with Jesse. We just know that he's a friend and the ex-boyfriend of Dina. Ellie comes in, dodges the bullet. You know what? At that point, it's like, oh shit, they're about to have a confrontation. And they do. They have their confrontation. They're fighting. Abby beats the ever-living shit out of Ellie. But Dina tries to come in and save Ellie. Ellie explains she's pregnant. Abby, being who Abby is, a monster, was like, good. And is about to slit her neck. Because Dina was pregnant and Mel was heavily pregnant, it's like, you get what you deserve. And it's like, Well, pot calling the kettle black because she brought this onto herself. Everything Abby does brings so much shit to her friends. And Ellie was just, enjoying her life. She could have let this go, right? She could have let this go. I said the same thing. She could have let this go since the beginning of the game. Tommy should have been the person to talk her out of this vengeance. With Maria. Maria tried to tell him not to get out of it. By the way, Tommy gets shot in the face. Because of that encounter, Abby, through the help of Lev, who convinces Abby not to kill her, Abby lets her live, which is like, oh, Abby is at the she has a higher moral ground because she let them live. Where was that moral ground for Joel? She could have let him live. No. Vengeance. But, she let them live. She got her fight. Ellie got her fight. But she just couldn't let Abby go. Abby goes off with Lev to God knows who knows where, and they're trying to find the Fireflies, something that Owen was trying to do since he abandoned the militia. She got a tip about where the Fireflies were, was tricked, and imprisoned for 2 months with Lev, becoming enslaved with this group of random fucking people in this location. I have no idea. But, they were enslaved. And, wow, we don't even get any context for how they've been in that time. At least in Uncharted, you get a little bit of context of just how they lived when some shit happens along the time. But, yeah, Abby and Lev get taken and they become slaves. And for some reason, it takes 2 months for Ellie to find. I'm not sure if it takes 2 months, but it's been just about a year after that moment with Abby, because Dina's baby is born, and Dina and Ellie both agreed to spend their lives raising this child. But Ellie just couldn't let Abby go. She couldn't sleep. She can't eat. She just has to go out and kill Abby. She needs her vengeance. At this point, right, any normal human being who has a child, right, because Ellie is this child who, by the way, it's Dina's and Jesse's child, but, Jesse's dead. Dina and Ellie are the mothers of this child and want to take care of this child. We could have ended the game there, but no, oh no. Ellie needed her vengeance, so she goes in search for Abby, and Abby is somewhere on this island just fucked up and enslaved, and, first, Ellie saves her from this enslavement, and in fact, saves everybody from enslavement, and another settlement burnt alive. Good job, Ellie. You're just adding up the body count here. We get to the point where we have Abby carrying Lev to a boat, and Ellie taking another boat. Conveniently, there's two. But we get the worst final boss fight. I think they were trying to emulate maybe Metal Gear Solid 4's last boss fight, where it was like a struggle and everything. But it was between Ellie and Abby. Ellie threatening the life of Lev for this fight, by the way, fights a weakened Abby, she is incredibly weakened. She is skinny. She is skinnier than she's ever been throughout this entire game. She lost all that mass. Her hair is cut all off, not all of it off, but it's just cut and it's just messed the fuck up. And they fight. Ellie, who is also weakened because she has a wound in her side, and she had to do a quick patch for that, and that fucked her up. They're both wounded, and this scrap was so unnecessary. This whole event was just unnecessary. I didn't feel much of anything with the story. I just wanted it to end at this point. I wanted this fight to end. There was no reason for Ellie and Abby to have this fight. All because Ellie wanted vengeance. You know what could have been a good line, a storyline, if Joel sacrificed himself to protect Ellie and told Ellie, don't go after my killers. This was karma waiting to happen. He knew this was going to happen. Ellie knew this was going to happen because he told her the truth. She should have known that karma would have hit Joel. And even if you wanted vengeance, beating the crap out of somebody and then saying, I don't want to ever see your face again, could have been the higher moral ground instead of killing everybody in your path just to kill that person. Ellie had such a hate boner for Abby that she abandoned her family to kill Abby. And at the end of all this, she loses 2 of her fingers, unable to play the guitar, of which she was taught by Joel how to do, by the way. Now she can't do it no more. Well, properly. At the end of all this, Abby and Lev go on their way, probably to have their adventure in The Last of Us 3, a game which I'm probably not going to touch because it has Abby in it. And you have Ellie, now that her girlfriend and the baby that they have moved out. They left all her stuff in her special room, by the way, with the guitar and all the music stuff. But they're gone. They're not in that house no more. Because they had like a big fight before Ellie had to go and find Abby. Or like Ellie had to go find Abby. Oh! Before that happened, they had just a little bit of a quarrel. She said, I don't want to do this no more, Dina said. At that point, I probably would have said, you're right. This is fucked up. I want to stay for you and the child. Nope! It's all about Abby. That made no fucking sense to me at all. When that happened, she comes back, house is empty. She loses Dina and the child that she agreed to raise, probably she really loves, she probably grew attached to it, just to get a shot at Abby. She tossed everything out for vengeance. And she got nothing from it. And Abby, she gets away, right? Nothing really bad except for that 2 months of enslavement, I guess, for Abby and Lev. It was probably a horrible 2 months, but after that, they're free and they get to do whatever the hell they want. Oh, but they're fugitives by the diminished militia and the cults that were stuck on that island. So that's about it. They go off and survive. Ellie does the same damn thing. She does the same damn thing. She probably goes back to Jackson, which is their home, but she gets nothing out of this. Ellie got nothing. And maybe that's deserved because of vengeance, but Abby, at the very least, gets a companion on her adventures. You know, she gains more of a conscience, I guess. I don't know. She's still a monster. And Ellie gets fucking nothing. She leaves the house, leaves all of her belongings in that house, going to who fucking knows where. As I said before, I do not like Ellie in this game. I definitely don't like Abby. I don't like how this story was written and how it was brought upon us. For the most part, it's not like I didn't enjoy the game because it was functional, but I didn't like the story, which is the point of the game. I can't really say that this was a horrible game, but I can't say at all that this is a masterpiece. This does not deserve a 10 out of 10. It hardly deserves a 7 out of 10. At a point, I was just going through the motions with both characters, and it was the same repeated drivel over and over again. Vengeance, despair, anger, some situation this, some shit happening there. The same, I need to either sneak or destroy the people in front of me. For the most part, I was able to successfully sneak past all the enemies, most of the enemies. Some enemies you can't sneak past, but for the most part, I was able to sneak past pretty much almost all the enemies. I thought that might change a difference in this. Not really, no. Gameplay in terms of the dog was, that was interesting. I did like some of the gameplay. I really did. I do still like the survivor mechanic. I really do. But I became less and less engaged. I became more disillusioned. And I honestly wanted the game to end. This was longer than The Last of Us. Unnecessarily. And in my fair opinion, as a person who liked The Last of Us, this is weaker than the last game. I can't really say that I recommend it for those who played The Last of Us, and I can't really say that I don't buy the game. I can't say that neither, because it's a solid game. I would give it a 5. If I had some sort of scale, I would give it a 5 out of 10, but I can't say for anybody who is a Last of Us fan to get this at full price. I'd say get it, when it has a price drop. This game makes you want to not play the game again. I don't want to play this game again. I do not. I don't want to go through the story again. This does not make me want to play the game over and over. This does not make me want to experience this story over and over. I do, however, want to experience all of the Uncharted games, all 4 of them. I will happily repeat play those. I like The Last of Us. I will happily repeat that. I'll repeat many other games over this one. All because, and this is my fault, I played The Last of Us and I liked it. I like the story in that, and there was expectations in this game that I probably should fairly not have had, because we already were warned this is a revenge story. But how it was told to us, my God, it just it kind of destroyed my faith in the franchise. Really, I don't want to play this game again. I would rather take a physical disc and lend it to somebody else so that they can have their experience and that they can lend it to somebody else. It's a 25-hour game, and if you want to go buy that game, go right ahead. I was just waiting, by the way. I was just waiting to get the game. Or if you can borrow it from a friend, borrow it. And during this times, it's probably a little hard because, pandemic and stuff. And notice I didn't pull up how desperate, despair, and bad it is right now, because I'm not trying to equivalate those two. That's separate. Anything that's real life, that's separate. In the game, I was expecting something that fairly I probably shouldn't have had, but at the end of the day, I don't want to replay The Last of Us Part 2. I didn't like the narrative of this game. I didn't like the story. I don't like where the characters were being driven to. I don't like that. I don't like how Joel died. I don't like how Ellie was acting throughout the entirety of this game. It's like she lost all sense and morality of what she was before, and you could say revenge, your heart is full of hate, and you want justice for the person you love who was killed. But even before that, Ellie and Joel had a falling out, and they were on odds. Okay, they were on odds, and I know that they were rekindling all this stuff, but that was like at the tail end of it all. At the end of the game, you see that they want to mend it, and this was near the point where it's like, oh, everything happened. But I don't think Ellie should have went on this journey. I honestly don't think Abby really needed to go out and kill Joel. She had a vengeance boner, and it got a lot of her friends into trouble. It definitely got her into trouble because Ellie went out on a killing spree. Abby is a monster. At this point, Ellie is a monster. And Joel could have gone a way different way. Sacrifice, at least at the quarter point of the game, maybe he should have gone. Like, I don't have a problem with his death, but how he died and when he died is my problem. It just didn't feel right. Definitely the way he went out just did not feel right. That didn't instill anger and vengeance into me. It instilled, confusion and just, heartbroken. I was heartbroken at that point. At the beginning of the game, I was heartbroken. That set up the narrative for me to just not feel much of anything. I don't like this game. And I hope that next time, because I know he can, Druckmann should write a better story. This was a miss for me. This was a miss. Again, I don't hate Druckmann. I don't hate him. He makes good shit. I just hope that next time he doesn't go this revenge or this narrative if he ever makes another Last of Us. If there is a Last of Us Part 3, please, for the love of God, don't make it about Abby. Please. Don't make it about Abby. I did not connect with Abby. I do not like Abby. I would say fuck Abby. But here's hoping it's better than what this was. I mean, as far as its presentation, it's fine. Gameplay is fine. It's graphically beautiful. But if the story just does not work, it just doesn't work. Anyway, I've been talking for almost an hour. And maybe I should wrap this up. For those of you, like I said, who are willing to buy this game, get it on the price drop or get it from a friend, you've already heard my opinion and pretty much got spoiled the entirety of this whole way through. This is The Last of Us Part 2, where vengeance shall be yours, but not really yours, and the ending was just bad. It was just bad. It was a bad ending. It was just... it didn't fill me with any kind of like, oh, this is brave and stunning. No, this isn't brave and stunning. This is desperate and sad and despair, and nobody likes to feel any kind of shit like that. Nobody wants to feel like they don't want to play the game, and I constantly had to put this game down to just take a deep breath and know that everything was good. It may have gotten what you wanted out of me, Druckmann, but I'm just saying this right now. I am more than likely never going to play The Last of Us Part 2. Hi, Sync Weaver from the future yet again, this time at the end of the video. There was something that I wanted to put in and leave in for the end of the video. Honestly, I don't think the message was there. So I'm just going to say it here, post editing, just to make it more clear. If you want to buy The Last of Us, then go right ahead. No one should stop you. If you want to buy it, go right ahead. I only advise that you might want to wait for a price drop, because I don't think they deserve the $60 that they put into this. I'd say like $50, honestly. But if you're a true die-hard Naughty Dog and or Last of Us fan, I don't want to be the person to sit there and say you're not allowed or you shouldn't buy this game. I'm not a critic. I'm only a gamer. I've only experienced this game twice, but I don't want to deprive any developer any money so that they can go on to make a better game. But at the same time, I think they should know what they did wrong. So I'm not saying don't buy the game. I'm just saying be cautious. Be cautious. If you could borrow the game, but be cautious, because if you were really into the characters of The Last of Us, you're going to find yourself upset in this game. You are going to find yourself upset. And I just wanted to say that, thank you for watching this entire video, which turned out to be near an hour. I do want to see your comments. I do want to reply to everyone's comments, because this is an interesting subject. I don't do this on my channel. I don't talk about any other game on my channel other than the ones that I like, which is basically an MMO called Final Fantasy XIV. But in this case, The Last of Us was one of my favorite games I've ever played on the PlayStation 3. Because of the story itself, the story really held me, and this was kind of like a personal thing. I'm not out here trying to hurt the devs. No. I don't hate Naughty Dog. I don't hate Neil Druckmann. I don't hate any particular person who written this story. No, it's not that. Sometimes a person who makes a good story may end up doing something stupid or bad, or making something stupid or bad, and that's their creative decision. And sometimes it just doesn't hit the mark. I mean, Nintendo has that kind of thing where they don't hit the mark all the time. I could think of Animal Crossing Pocket Adventure or something like that. I could think of that Pikmin game that was on the handheld. So it's not like people who make good games don't make bad games. This one just didn't stick. I am disappointed in the game. I will never play this game ever again. I don't want to experience the story ever again. And I would rather just play The Last of Us. If there is a way that we can just renege on this with all of that happening, I would love to see it. But we can't. It's a done deal. Everything that happened in the story, I'm pretty sure it's canonical, and we're just gonna have to live with it. I guess it's like an artistic integrity. I don't know. Anyway, like I said before, please leave a comment down below if you want to reply to this video. Leave your likes or dislikes. It's all open, not hiding everything. And, tell me how you felt about it. Tell me why you liked it. Tell me why you disliked it. Why do you like The Last of Us Part 2, and why do you dislike it? I already just went on how I disliked it, and that was only on the story alone. So anyway, guys, have a nice day, and I'm going to play a happier game, hopefully, if I can find one. See you later.